Dear Ajahn, please talk about the benefits of right speech and not gossiping. Once there were 4 priests and they were going to a conference. And at lunchtime, they were good friends, they sat down together. And one of the priests said, "You know that something has been on my mind. It's something which is a secret, and I want to confess it to you," because we ask all of our disciples to confess. So I want to confess to you that I gamble, said the priest. I look at the horse racing. Sometimes I put on dark glasses in the week and go to a casino. And I can't help myself. I'm just a gambler. It's an addict. And the other priests were surprised. That's amazing. We thought you were such a good person, but you're a gambler. But it's very good if you have any bad character traits. Confess. Tell the people you trust. Because when you confess, it's better for you. And the second priest said, well, actually, it's probably good that I confess too. Now seeing just your courage. And my problem, said the second priest, is alcohol. On a Monday, when it's supposed to be my day off, I go to the bottle shop and I get many whiskies. And at the end of Monday evening, I'm drunk. But I don't let anybody find out. So I'm an alcoholic, he said. They said, it's amazing, you've hidden it so well. Nobody knows, and it's a shameful thing for a priest to say that. But it's wonderful you've confessed. And they asked the third priest, what's your fault? He said, look, I don't ask me. He said, come on, it's good you let us know. He said, okay, it is adultery. There is a girl who comes to my church. She's married. We've been having an affair. Oh, they were shocked. A priest who gives sermons in church was committing adultery. They said, it's very good you let us know. Because when you let us know, at least then maybe we can help you. And then they asked the fourth priest, what about you? He said, look, really, don't ask me. He said, no, come on. He said, no. And he said, please, look, it can't be worse than gambling, being an alcoholic, or committing adultery. And he said, it is much worse. It's much worse than that. What is it? And it took him 10 minutes to get it out of him. He said, my problem is I'm a gossip. Whatever I hear, I have to tell everybody. Now you know why you should not gossip. It's worse than gambling, worse than alcoholism, worse than adultery. So don't do that. Okay, next question. In moments of silence, my mental chatter can get very loud. At times, as if someone is talking to me, it makes me feel like a schizophrenic, but I'm not. Why? If you were a schizophrenic, you'd have said, but we are not. So that means you can't be a schizophrenic. So half of me is, half of me isn't. No. So what is happening? You've been so used to talking. When you're not using your mouth, you're using your head. And so you're having a conversation with yourself because no one else is talking to you. So that is natural to begin with. But in order to overcome that, see if you can do what I said this morning, substitute. Because what you talk to yourself is rubbish. You know, when I first became a monk, and I first went to go and see these great teachers, I was afraid. I was afraid that one of them would read my mind and tell the others what I was thinking about. And I was not ready for my mind to be read yet. So remember that some of the monks and nuns may be able to read your mind. So be careful what you're thinking about. We may announce it at the talk. That should scare you into silence. No, that good monks, even if they could read your mind, they would not. Just like you never read a trash novel. That's why we don't read your mind. If you're really thinking something interesting, then I may do that. But, it's just trash. So, try that substitution, whether it's Namo Buddhaya or Om Mani Padme Hum, whatever it is. Do that with the spaces in between, so you can learn how to be silent. All it is training, so that you understand, you recognize what silence is. It's that, just what you were experiencing a few seconds ago, the space between the words. You recognize it, become familiar with it, then you become at ease with it, and it stays. You can have many, many moments of silence, especially in this place. So it is natural, so there's nothing wrong with you, but just do something about it by substitution and lengthening the spaces in between. If that doesn't work, what you can do is when you're breathing in and breathing out, doing the breath meditation, there are many mantras. In Thailand they use the Buddho with the breath. For Thai people that works, but for especially Westerners or people who have an English-speaking upbringing like many of you, the best mantra I have found, the one which works, is as you breathe in, you recite to yourself the word shut. As you breathe out, up. Shut up. Shut up. And after a while, it gets in. You actually do shut up inside. That's a very, very good one. And after a while, you learn how to be silent. And that is worth years and years of training. If you can learn how to notice the silence in life, you'll become very healthy, peaceful, and happy. There's many, many moments of silence. And because you value them, you can just enter that silence because you've trained. You don't have to keep talking and thinking. Then you become a very wise, peaceful person. And very healthy too. So that's part of the course, a little bit more training and you'll get there. When an arahat dies, do the four aggregates that make up the mind follow the same pattern as the body aggregate, i.e. break up and dissolve into some sort of non-physical plane, as the body breaks up and dissolves into the physical plane? When the arahat passes away, what happens is all the four khandhas and the five khandhas. This is the body, the feelings, perceptions, the mental formations, which includes your will and your consciousness, that stops. Nothing left. Where does it go? And once the Buddha explained to Vacchagotta, he said it's just like the flame of the candle. When the flame is extinguished, where does it go? Does it go to the east, the west, the north, or the south? Or does the flame go to the heaven worlds, where all good flames go if they made good karma? Or does it get reborn in the pure land of flames, or the ground of all flame being, Where does the flame go after it is extinguished? It's a stupid question. All the flame was the result of the wick, the wax, and heat. When one of those three causes is extinguished, there's no more flame. That's it. Just like you. When you become an arahat, and when you pass away, that's it, the flame has gone out. Peace at last. That's what the Buddha said. But I don't want to die, people say. Look, I worked so hard to become enlightened. Can't I enjoy it afterwards, please? No, what happens is there was nothing there to begin with. Is there anyone there now? Who are you? You're not your body, you're not your feelings, you're not your perceptions, you're not even your will, as I will teach you later on. You're not your consciousness. Consciousness comes and goes. You can't even find anyone in here right now. So when the arahat dies, nothing is lost, nothing is gained, because there's no one in here. That's why I was very happy that they called me by my correct title when I was coming in, I think, this evening. They called me Your Emptiness. That is my title. Not Venerable, not Ajahn, Your Emptiness. Or even better, Your Nothingness. So this is, as I've been telling many people, this practice is learning how to be a loser. Do you want to be a loser? I am a loser. I've lost all my money, I've lost all my family, I've lost all my possessions. I try and get rid of as much as possible. So being a Buddhist is being a loser. Being an enlightened Buddhist is the biggest loser. You've lost all your attachments, and that means you're free. So if anyone comes up to me and says, Ajahn Brahm, you're a loser. Yes, you've understood. I'm a loser. So it's nice being a loser. Ajahn, when I chanted silently Namo Buddhaya as per your instructions, my scalp and hair had a tingling. That was showing you're going to become a monk or a nun. It's a sign, it's coming off. It's a comfortable sensation, yet it's much more comfortable shaving your hair off. You don't need a comb, you don't need a hairbrush, you don't need to blow dry your hair, you don't need to go to the hairdressers, you don't need shampoo, you stand under the shower, you wash the whole thing all at the same time. I never have a bad hair day. So it's great. It's very comfortable, however it just stops there. How do I progress from here? You never progress. You never go on anywhere. Stay where you are and go deeper into wherever you happen to be. This idea of progress. There's no end to progress. The only end is ingress. Go in, never go on. So if that's how you experience the things, go into it. Go in. And there you will find the next stage. You go on and you will always be restless. You've been going on all your life, going on the journey, always getting closer and closer to your coffin. Aren't you worried? Can you not see the coffin is coming closer and closer? Another year, another. So don't go on. That's the only place you're going on to. So go in. Find out where you are. Go deeper into whatever experience you have. That is the path of insight. You look within things. If you look outside, that's a path called excite. You get excited. So always go in. So never progress. Stay where you are and go deeper into it. Does the Goenka method of meditation accord with the suttas? Does practicing it have any benefit for training one's mind? Can practicing that method alone lead to stream entry and beyond? No, no, no. No, Ajahn Brahm's method is the best method. We always say that my method is the best. So I don't know, I've never done Goenka method. But I know that some people say it's so hard. You've got to get up really early in the morning. There's no this nice soft, oh, take a rest. Sleep as much as you like. It's very tough. You've got to get up really early in the morning. And you've got to sit straight. And when it's time to walk, they ring the bell, gong, and everyone has to walk. When it's time to sit down, gong, and you have to sit down. When it's time to eat, gong, and you have to eat. Time to go to the toilet, gong. Is that the same? No, don't do that, okay. But it's like being in the Marine camp. Even the Singapore military don't make you do that. Actually, it is too tough. It's too hard. And the Buddha taught the middle way. And if you have a look at that, sitting through pain, forcing yourself, that was condemned by the Buddha. That is not the middle way. So it does not lead to peace. You're so stuck with the pain of the body and its discomfort, you can never transcend the body, let it go, and experience the jhanas. And I'll tell you why later, why you have to let go of the body in order to understand it and get insight. I prefer the Buddha's method. That's why I like reading suttas. Not Abhidharma, not commentary, but suttas. These are the teachings of the Buddha. Dear Bhante, is the knower the self? No. Please explain non-self. No. Well, can I say no? It's not my fault. Later on, I will start to talk about non-self. This knower, it comes and goes. What is this knower anyway? Later on, your knower will disappear. First of all, seeing vanishes. Okay, I just understand why now. I'll probably talk about this later, but this is just a taste of what's happening. When you close your eyes to meditate, what do you see? You see the inside of your eyelids, first of all. If it's very light, there's a redness there, because it's just the light going through the blood vessels. You can still see something, but it's mostly dark. Because it doesn't move, there's no change on the inside of your eyelids. After a few seconds, the sense of sight turns off. If nothing is moving or changing, then the senses turn off. It's the nature of the sensory apparatus in your brain. It's only wired to notice things which change. The same with hearing. If there's a constant sound of an aircon, or the sound of a traffic in the distance, as long as it's constant, after a while, you won't hear it. Because even hearing can only notice what changes. Smelling, as long as nobody passes wind, then the smell is the same. You don't smell anything. That's why in old Buddhist temples we used to light lots of incense. That's the reason why. So you can smell what was coming out of people's backsides. But that's why many people with bad digestion, please sit in the back. If you sit in the front, then everybody can smell you. And when you meditate, you sit still. Because when you sit still, when nothing is moving in the body, the brain turns off the sense of physical touch. You can only notice things which are moving. And your body starts to disappear, it vanishes. Except for the last thing in the body, your breath, that's always moving. Which is why when you settle down, the body disappears, and all you've got left is the breath. You calm that down to become so smooth you can hardly see any change from the in-breath to the out-breath. And then what happens? The brain can only notice things which change, so even your breathing disappears. Your 5 senses, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touch, have vanished. They disappeared. Wonderful. Those 5 types of consciousnesses, now they're gone. Now you have an idea of what they are. And the last consciousness, the mind, the knowing, when that's still, that also starts to disappear. Your knowing vanishes. There's nothing left. So who can be the self? That is called the art of disappearing, available for a special reduced rate at this centre. See Daniel or Mike or someone, and they could. What's the price now?
I think it's always been $25.
$25. Okay, special offer for retreatants, $24.99. So that's why we call it the art of disappearing. And when things disappear, you realize there's no one in here. The knower is not yourself. There's no one in here. You are empty. But I'll talk more about that later on. Now another deep question. Dear Ajahn, I have a boyfriend. You don't. He's nothing. He's non-self. There's nobody in there. But anyway, I have a boyfriend who has a quick and fiery temper. He is trying to change but refuses to do meditation, despite our argument over this. How can he improve on his awareness? Do I change the boyfriend? Yeah. There's many boyfriends around. Get a good one. Look, if you had like a microwave and it didn't work, would you change it? Of course you would. You know, your boyfriend must be a faulty model. Take him back to the manufacturer, his parents. Get a refund. Or force him to do meditation, or let go of my hope that he will change or do nothing. Look, if you are a girl, you have what I call leverage over your boyfriend. You have power over him. You young women don't realize how much power you have over the boys. Use it. And if you're really clever, you'll soon be able to get your boyfriend to do whatever you want. That's a smart girl. So, you know, you just use your wiles, be a bit seductive, and then stop. And, well, I want some more. I said, well, you have to come to temple first. So this is how, and if he starts to go to the temple and meditate, be nice to him, be kind to him. It's positive reinforcement. It works. So yeah, I mean, use your leverage, you girls. Next question. If we let go of our past in meditation, why do we get back into our past lives in jhana stage? All the past you remember is not the last life, it's this life. That's boring. You know, remembering all the things which happened to you so far in this life. You know, I went to school, I had girlfriends, I got into trouble, I went to university, sometimes I did good things, blah, 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 blah. That's not really interesting. If you wrote your biography, who would read it? So why do you keep remembering it? So again, just let it go, the past, so you can be free. But only when you've let go of the past and the future, and you've spent a long time in the present moment, and when your mind is very still and powerful, and the body has disappeared, and you go into these states called the jhanas, when you come out afterwards, yes, you have power. Like you're Supergirl, Superboy. And then you can ask about your past lives. And it's interesting. Number one, you realize, yes, you have existed before. Because remembering your past, it's obviously, you were born. Ask your mum, she can confirm that. And finding out who you were before, that's much more interesting. And once you have those experiences, no longer do you have any doubt at all. This reincarnation or rebirth thing is absolutely true. Many Western, even unfortunately, I must be embarrassed to say, even some Western monks don't believe in rebirth. That's crazy. You're not really a Buddhist. But they say, prove it. I say, okay, sit down, meditate, get into jhanas, and you'll find out for true. If that doesn't work, the other way to prove it, when you die, you get reborn again, and you come back and I'll tell you, I told you so. But you want to find out for yourself before you die, because once you understand you've been reborn before, and you get reborn afterwards, it changes the whole picture of life. It means you don't worry so much about chasing just money or pleasures or power. Some of you say, I've been there and done that. So what? What's the big deal? It's seeing the big picture makes you much more wise. Also, you're not so scared about dying. You've done it before. Here we go again. Just get it right this time, stupid. And when other people die, maybe someone you really care for, when you see many lives, it's not such a big loss anymore. But if it's only one life, and you lose someone like a kid dies, only 4 or 5 years of age, that's traumatic, that's terrible, it's unfair. When you know they get reborn again, okay, they had a short time this time. Next time they'll have a much longer life. It always goes round. It's all fair in the long term. Understanding reincarnation will have a huge effect on people. I don't know who's going to be the President of the United States after the election, but whoever it is, I wish they could understand rebirth. Whoever invades Afghanistan will have to be reborn in Afghanistan in their next life. They're going to have to suffer the results of that. So Mr. Bush, George W. Bush, he's going to get reborn in Iraq. And if you knew you were going to get reborn in that place, would you ever destroy it? All of our leaders are all old people. Mostly old men. They don't care, because they think that after 10 or 15 years they're out of here. They don't look at the long-term picture. Imagine if the Prime Minister of Singapore and Malaysia, if they realize they're going to have to come back and live on this planet again, they take much better care of it. One of the problems with children not respecting their parents and causing problem, why that is the case? Because those children were your old grandparents in the past, and you never cared for them when they were old. Now they've got reborn and they're taking their revenge. So if you knew you were going to get reborn, and all these old people are going to get reincarnated, you'd invest much more resources to the aged. Because looking after the old people is an investment in the country's future. But we don't think like that. Old people, what's their use? Throw them in some home. Just feed them, make sure they're reasonably comfortable, but you don't give them much respect because, what's their earning potential for the country? What are they contributing? Nothing. Kids at school, throw resources at them because that's our future. But when you think that old people are also our future, you take much better care of them. That's why when we start understanding rebirth, reincarnation, it changes the whole dynamics of governments and their agendas too. We look for long-term benefits, really long-term, sustainability of our planet, because we're all going to have to come back here and live in this place. So that's why it's great to understand rebirth. Remembering your past just sends you crazy. Oh, now come on. Some of these questions, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only question 1, okay? Here we go. Are the karmic consequences for the following actions the same or different? A man knowingly kills his father. A man kills a person thinking it was his father, but later discovers it was not. A man kills a person not knowing it was his father, but later discovers it was. A man kills a person thinking it was his father and never learns otherwise. A man kills a person not knowing it was his father and never learns otherwise. Now, I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm going to ask, why did you ask that question? Have you killed your father? And the reason is because this is like a Dhamma question which many people ask. But look, it's just theory. And why do people want to know all that theory and philosophy? What does it really do to help you becoming quiet? In fact, all it really does is create more thoughts and discussions in the mind. So if you've killed your father, fine, it's a relevant question. Or if you're thinking about it. But if those two aren't the case, I'm not answering it. Too much philosophy, not enough practice. I am scared of lizard. I saw the same species of lizard 3 times today. It must be chasing you. I think I should do metta for the lizard, but when I closed my eyes and tried to say, may the lizard be happy, I was so scared and could not continue the meditation. Is it true that if you're scared of something, not advised to do metta for them? No, look. Those lizards, the stumpy-tailed lizards, they're so nice. You can pick them up. Even the kids in the schools pick them up. They're perfectly safe. If you really want to, we have got some fruit for tomorrow morning, but not that much. But they love strawberries and melons. You put them out and they love that. So there's one of our ladies she comes every Tuesday. She's got about 8 or 9 of them in her house. And they come and knock on the door and she gives them some strawberries and they crawl all over the place. They're her pets. Pet lizards, they're lovely lizards. They're really cute. So they're perfectly safe. They won't do anything to you at all. And a lot of the time they're just doing what they need to do, walking around, having a good time. And if they do come into the hall, it's just because they want to do some meditation. So let them come in. So number 1, if you are scared of anything, do the research. Is it really worth being scared of these things? So get knowledge first of all. Knowledge is one of the first things which overcomes fear. Basically, there's no danger at all. They won't harm you. And number 2, once you've got with knowledge, then you can actually change your mind state. Now, you've been here many times. This retreat centre, how many years enough? 4 years now it's been here? No one's ever been killed by a lizard. You've got more chance of being kicked to death by one of the ducks in the pond. Can you imagine being kicked to death by a duck? That's more likely than being killed by a lizard. This won't happen. So you're perfectly safe. I guarantee it. So give metta. Dear Ajahn Brahm, I've been dreaming a lot while sleeping for the past 2 days. Is this due to the tiring body and mind? Yes, forget. It's wonderful to dream, as long as they're nice dreams. And not sort of bad dreams. If they're nice, calm, peaceful dreams, it's wonderful. Enjoy it. Especially if you dream of lottery numbers. Then you can come and tell me or Dania, and then we can actually pay off our nuns' monastery. But dreams are just dreams. It's just part of the brain doing its thing. So don't worry about the dreams at all. But if they're bad dreams, or if you have nightmares, what to do when you're laying in bed just before you go to sleep, just give yourself some positive reinforcement. Remember, I'm in this wonderful place, Jhana Grove, protected by all the monks and the nuns. I am totally safe, much safer than in Singapore or Penang. So because you're protected, you feel, oh, I feel so safe, so peaceful. I don't have to go to work in the morning. I can sleep in. Isn't that wonderful? So you psych yourself up with positive thoughts, and then you'll always have happy dreams. But if when you're going to sleep at night, you start to think of lizards following you, that in your dream you'll have this big lizard, 100 times the size, breaking down the doors of your cottages. So what you put into your brain before you go to sleep is usually what you think about and dream about. So put in positive things before you go to sleep, and then you always have good dreams. I'm fully awake. I'm fully aware, and my mind is still, not going anywhere. I keep sitting, and my butt hurts. What am I waiting for? You think you're fully awake, but you're not. You're only a fraction awake. You think you're fully aware, but you're not. You think your mind is still. If it was, you wouldn't write this. And I keep sitting and my butt hurts. What am I waiting for? You're waiting for the painless butt. And no such thing exists. So maybe there's a few doctors here. Maybe you can get some anesthetic to anesthetize your bottom. Now, if it starts to hurt, get up and walk, exercise. Get some stools, sit on a chair. You know why we have chairs in this room for? For sitting on. That's what chairs are there for. But sometimes people say, no, you've got to sit on the floor to get enlightened. And all those people sitting on the chairs, they're losers. They're not really trying. They're namby-pamby cream puffs. Real meditators sit on the floor. No. You can get even deeper in meditation on the chairs than you can on the floor. So try it. If your butt hurts, get on a chair. And then it doesn't hurt so much. Or walk. I heard you tell a story about helping a young girl recover from depression, but I can't remember the details. That means you're getting Alzheimer's. Well, many of you are getting quite old now. But maybe not. Can you please explain the method you taught her again? Something about relaxing physical feelings in the body. Do you think there is any usefulness in antidepressant medication, or can meditation alone cure depression, even severe cases? Okay, the very severe cases of depression, sometimes people have to have the medication and have the psychologists and psychiatrists look after you. But in the average depression, the major number of cases which people have, meditation does work. It's a very wonderful way of overcoming depression. Mainly because, as I mentioned this morning, depression is just low mental energy. And when you try and fight that, you're just wasting more energy, you get more depressed. Literally, you get depressed about being depressed. And every time you fight, you go deeper into the dullness, into the negativity. So the opposite of that, meditation is welcome depression. Oh, I love being depressed, because when I get depressed, I have many benefits. I don't have to get up in the morning. I've got a great excuse for not going to work. I'm depressed, okay? And when you're depressed, other people look after you because they care if you're depressed. They try and cheer you up. So if you are depressed, milk it as much as you possibly can. Because otherwise, if you're healthy, people don't care about you so much, and you have to do everything yourself. But when you're depressed, people look after you, and they care for you, they look after you. And you don't have to do so much. You don't have to perform because I'm depressed. So enjoy it. What I'm saying by that means if you're not fighting it, but being with it, and opening the door of your heart to your depression, it means you're feeding positive energy in. And the depression starts to get less and less and less and less. You fight it, it gets worse. You love it, and it gets less. It's a hard thing to do, but my goodness, it works. But with this one lady, it wasn't depression she had panic attacks, which often comes with depression. They usually come together. Severe anxiety. So afraid that you see a lizard and you get upset. The lizard's coming for me. Lizards don't eat people from Singapore. It's not the food they like. They like Western food. They're Australians. No, the lizards don't eat anybody. They're vegetarians. It's true, lizards are vegetarians, okay? So they're nothing to do with you. You're not a vegetable. Although many of you sit so quietly, I sometimes think you may be one. So, okay, this is one of my worst jokes. The joke about the 2 carrots. Do you remember the 2 carrot joke? Once there were 2 carrots, and they were walking down Orchard Road in Singapore. And one of the carrots got hit by a car which was out of control. It's a road accident. And the other carrot quickly called on the mobile phone, the emergency service. What's the number in Singapore for emergency service? 999. He rang 999 because his friend, the carrot, was badly injured. And the ambulance came straight away. And they looked at the carrot. He was so badly injured, they put him in the back of the ambulance, put a drip on him, put all this electronic stuff in there to try and keep him alive until they got him to hospital. And obviously his friend went in the ambulance with him. They took him to, what's the top hospital in? Took him to Renchi Hospital, where the Buddhist Fellowship is. And they took the 2 carrots, and they took the injured carrot into Renchi Hospital, and they took the triage nurses, took one look at him, straight into surgery. It was an emergency. It was a matter of life and death. And if you've ever been with a person in an accident, you know what it's like in the waiting room? You're so anxious. You don't know whether the person is going to survive or not. You're just waiting for the first news. Is my friend going to make it? And the doctor came out from the surgery, in the green cap on and just everything, and said, and he could recognise you must be Mr. Carrot's friend. He's the only other carrot in the waiting room. And he said, I've got some good news and bad news for you. The good news is your friend, Mr. Carrot, he's going to make it, he's going to live, he's going to survive. We kept him alive. The bad news is because we... Shut up. I'm trying to keep it. The bad news is, because of his injuries, he's going to be a vegetable for the rest of his life. It's very hard for me to say that with a straight face, but I managed. I have to figure out what the question was. That was the question. Yeah. Okay. So you tell a joke like that, and that gets rid of depression. People are happy. Okay, enough of that. I'll tell that story another time. You can ask again. Is Is it ever appropriate for an enlightened being to make known their attainment to others? Usually not. So if anyone comes along and says, I'm enlightened, I am the teacher for the new age, I am the new Buddha. If anyone says that, and people keep on doing that, you can know for sure, absolutely 100% guaranteed, they are not. Who would go around saying such things? They're stupid. But there is one time that they will say, and that is when they're dying. That is usually the tradition, that just before you're supposed to pass away, when you're not going to be there anymore, so it doesn't really matter about pride or fame or anything. That's usually the tradition. You come up and you say, Ajahn Brahm, you're about to die. Okay, are you enlightened? What have you been doing all this time? And then I will tell you the truth. Because it doesn't matter anymore. So the trick is to get a few doctors to get some potion together to make it look that I'm sick and I'm dying. But I'm not really. And then, the doctor says, oh, Ajahn Brahm, you're about to die now. So are you enlightened or not? That's the only way you'll get it out of me. But don't do that. Obviously, that's bad karma. So the answer is no. We don't say. And the reason is, one of the reasons is this. Because as soon as you say, this monk is enlightened, that nun is not, this monk is, that nun isn't, or that nun is and this monk isn't, then you get this hierarchy in the Sangha. The enlightened people are called the Aryans. And the ones who aren't are just called Putujanas. And if you say, this is an Aryan, this is an Aryan, this is an Aryan, we get in the Sangha what we call the Aryastocracy. And you know what happens when you have that? It gets into pride and separates one monk from the other. The aristocracy, yes. And what happened in Thailand, I was a young monk, just about 3 months ordained, and the food was disgusting. I've said that many, many times before. It was rotten frogs and rice, that's all, one meal a day. And even people from Bangkok couldn't stand that, and they left. And I was an Ang Mo, Westerner. So it was very tough. But this on one occasion, this big pickup truck, with a big tray in the back, came from the city, full of pots of delicious food. And when I saw that came up, I thought, what you're like with food? You want to have a nice breakfast tomorrow morning or a nice lunch? How important food is. A big truck came up, delicious food, and I thought, great, today I'm going to eat well. And the driver came out and he asked, is Ajahn Chah here today? And he wasn't. He was in a house doing a blessing. So he said, no, he's not here today. So the driver got in the car and drove away. That hurt. You could see the food, you could smell it, and then he took it away. Why? Because you don't get much merit just feeding monks like me. You've got to feed it to arahats. They're the best. That's what people think in Thailand. But actually that's wrong. The Buddha said, and this is Mahakamavibhanga Sutta, if you are going to make merit with monks or nuns by giving offerings, the highest offering after the Buddha dies is to the Sangha of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis together. That's the highest merit you can make. The best bang for your bucks if you give a donation or give food. That's one of the reasons why we ordain bhikkhunis. In Thailand, you can't make that great merit. There's no bhikkhunis there. Or at least there are, but people imagine there's not. But that's Mahakamavibhanga Sutta. You can check it out, or I can get it out for you and read it. After the Parinibbana of the Buddha, you get much more merit giving to both Sanghas than you do even to the Buddha or to an Arahat. The Sangha is always higher than any individual. So don't worry about if there's an enlightened being in there or not. To the Sangha of both sides, men and women, that is the highest offering. And you can do that here in Perth. Okay. Do meditators need to exercise to be physically healthy? Yes, I exercise my mouth. I have got one of the healthiest mouths in the whole Sangha. Talk too much. And the other thing which makes you healthy is to laugh a lot. Because many people, they've noticed that, I put on weight. It's not my fault. It's your fault because you feed me too much. And you know what it's like? People say, oh, come and eat my food. Because you offer it specially. You make me something special. So come and eat it, eat it. I made it for you specially. And someone, I made it for you specially too. And I made it for you specially. And that's why I get fat. But don't worry, I've got it all under control. Because you know that I studied science, and someone sent me this article, medical research, which is conclusively proved that when you're happy and you laugh a lot, your blood vessels expand. When you're miserable, negative, argumentative, fault-finding and grumpy, your blood vessels contract, they get very small. So if you're fat and grumpy, you've got so much gut going through, narrow blood vessels, that's what kills you. But if you are fat and happy, it doesn't matter, because your blood vessels are wider than the super highways. These 20-lane highways they have in Chicago. So anything can go through, which is why you may have noticed that fat people are always happy. The reason is because the fat, miserable ones died a long time ago. The only ones left are the fat, happy ones. Just like Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. And he's always fat and happy. That's why he's lived such for 2,000 years. So if you are overweight, start laughing quick. It will save your life. That is my exercise, keeping me healthy. Sometimes I notice that when a person is very kind, generous or tolerant, there are those who will take advantage of them. Exactly. I am kind, generous and tolerant, and you take advantage of me. But that's what we're here for, to be taken advantage of. So take advantage of me. How can one develop kindness without becoming a doormat? What's wrong with becoming a doormat? People need to wipe their feet. So you can wipe it on me. The thing is that people think, oh, being a doormat is something low and terrible. No, being a doormat is good. What was that story of the 5 fingers? Remember the 5 finger story? You don't. Once the 5 fingers were having an argument. Who is the best finger? And the thumb said, I am the best finger. I am the strongest. I am the opposable thumb, which allows human beings to be the top species. And when you say okay, what finger do you use? Me. I am the okay finger. That's why I'm the best. The toughest, the strongest, the okay finger. And the index finger says, no, I am the finger of wisdom. Why? Because I point out things to people. And wisdom is higher than strength. I am the best finger. And when you say number 1, what finger do you hold up? 1, me. I am the number 1 finger. And then the next finger, the middle finger. I am the most powerful. I can upset people. And anyway, I am the tallest. I can see further. And didn't the Buddha praise the middle way? I am the middle way finger. I am the best. And then the fourth finger. I am better than all of you. Why? Because I am the finger of love. Where will the world be without compassion, without love? When you get engaged, what finger do you put your ring on? Me. When you get married, what finger do you put the marriage ring on? Me. I am the finger of love, and love conquers all. That's why I am the best finger. And that left the fifth finger, this little guy. And he said, actually, you are all wrong. I am the best finger of all. Even though you use me to do dirty things. I have to do all the dirty work. But when you pray to the Buddha, I am closest to the Buddha. And the moral of that story is, whoever cleans up after breakfast or lunch, whoever sweeps the floor or cleans up their cottage or other people's messes, you do the dirty work and you are always closest to the Buddha. So that's the people who do the dirty work are very close to the Buddha. So you're a doormat, great. You're closest to the Buddha. Which is the most important sutta in the Tipitaka? Everyone is important. So you can't say one is more important than the other. That is like the fingers arguing again. I have a secret. Oh, no. Oh, is there a secret? Oh, that's a shame. I was getting interested. Is there a secret method of sitting? You seem to sit very comfortably. My bum tends to go numb whenever I sit for more than half an hour. So take your bum off and put it by the side before you start meditating. I sit from one heart. Sometimes it's the right bum, sometimes it's the left. When one bum goes numb, I tend to lean on the opposite side, but I'm afraid I'll topple over. That would be very embarrassing. Then meditate sitting on your head. See if you can try. People can sit for hours watching a movie. How long does a movie last for? 2 hours. 3 hours. Does your bum get sore when you watch a movie? No, but 5 minutes meditating, oh, it hurts. So it's just restlessness, not real pain. But have some more cushions. Or get some anaesthetic. Or we got this painkiller cream. You rub in. Cheapest. Today I experienced, or I saw, images in different colours for a long time. You've been looking at your mobile phone again. Why something was heavy with energy? My body was heavy with energy and it felt a little numb. Can you please tell me what this is? Thank you. I saw images and colours for a long time. That may be nimittas, but I will be talking about nimittas later on in this retreat. But it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're peaceful and calm, that's very good. So what do you do when this happens? What should you do when that happens? Make peace, be kind, be gentle. So what should you do? Make peace, be kind, and be gentle. Yeah. How could one see dukkha if one is so happy and content? I'm happy and content, but sometimes I'm super happy. And when I'm super happy, just ordinary happiness is like dukkha. This is what dukkha is. Dukkha is the pause between two moments of happiness. And what's happiness? The space between two moments of suffering. So it doesn't matter where you are in this life. If you're really happy, and the next moment you're still happy but not quite as happy, that's called dukkha. But the real reason for dukkha is this is suffering, asking from this world what it can never give you. We ask too much. So instead of asking what this world can give you, just be happy with what you've got. And then there is no dukkha. What do you want from this retreat? Are you going to get it? No, you're not. That's suffering. Just don't expect anything. Expect to be even worse after this retreat than when you started. And then you won't have any suffering. No, you all want to be better, don't you? You all want to get nimittas and jhanas and enlighten or something, because you've heard your wife gets it and that really sucks and you don't get anything. So stop wanting things. When you don't want anything, then you're at peace. This body is a conditioned entity. How does the mind work? How long have you had your mind? Don't you understand how it works yet, after all these years? Does it control the body? The mind is divided into the doer and the knower. Or is there more to it? Thanks, Ajahn Brahm. That's the best way. The mind is the knower and the doer. The doer does too much. Which means the knowing part of the mind has never been really developed. We're very good at doing things. You're all great managers. You're all great thinkers and doers. You've done so much, but you know so little. Because we put all our energy into doing, managing, sorting out problems, our active part of our being is very highly developed. But we know so little. We're so busy doing things, we're not aware of who we are or where we are. So on this retreat, you stop moving. Stop going to the next thing. Stop changing things. Stop doing things. Stop and see where you are and who you are and what this mind is. When you're moving, you just can't see anything. When you stop and stand still, you've got a chance of seeing everything. I'll say more about that later, because the time is going and there's only 3 questions to go. Am I going to finish in time? Please talk on the topic of aging gracefully. Yeah, I'm aging. I am now 61 or 62 in Asia because we had an extra year. And it's really terrible being a monk who gets old. The older I get, the harder I have to work. I get more invitations. I have to teach more retreats. I go to Singapore and they really work me hard. It's unfair. I should be looking to retire. But I can't retire. In fact, there is a saying that life begins at 70 for a holy man. Or a holy girl as well. So this is what happens. So I've got a lot of work to look forward to. But aging gracefully means you're at peace with your old age. Number 1, you don't dye your hair. You don't do comb overs. You don't use Botox. You don't get breast uplifts. Let it be, for goodness sake. You know, that costs a lot of money. It's very painful. Just be old and enjoy being old. You get many advantages of being old in Australia. You get pension. I don't think they allow me to. Would they allow me to get a pension? You get health treatments and all sorts of other things when you get old, but I probably won't be able to get a pension. The Buddhist Society of West Australia will probably steal it. But that's what happens when you get old. So get old gracefully, which is just being with old age. Stop fighting it. How do you grow old gracefully? Make peace, be kind, be gentle with old age. How does one remain optimistic when they are aware that they are slowly losing their faculties mentally, less energetic, eyesight poorer, digestion slower, etc.? I've noticed that's one of my first insights when I was very young. When you get old, your eyes go, they get weak. You can't hear properly, your ears deteriorate, your hands start to shake, you lose the strength in your legs. Everything gets weaker as you get old, except for one thing. In old people, one thing gets stronger with every year, and that is their mouth. Old people, they can talk hour after hour after hour. That never gets weak. It's true, you know. That's why most politicians are old. Because they've got really strong mouths. You know, it's true. Old people got strong mouths. Bad eyesight, digestion slower, but their mouths, they can talk. Last night I was a little alarmed when I could not hear you as well as before. I had no problem hearing you at all. Ah, come on, you've heard me before. They're all old jokes. Actually, I like teaching old people. You know why? Because I can say the same joke year after year, and they still laugh because they can't remember they heard it before. All the young ones said, you told that joke last week. Oh, yeah. So if you can't hear me, it's probably not your ears, it's probably the PA. Okay, so give yourself a break. I hope the following the middle path is the way to go. It is always the way to go. As I progress in this path, I see I'm letting go more and more in the material world. I control and monitor less, not pushing too hard, and it's quite clear that the people around me are concerned by my attitude, but do not say anything, as my business seems to grow with lesser effort and control. What is happening? Exactly. We control so much, we mess things up. This is my first meditation teacher, he told me when he was a boy, his father gave him some seeds to plant in the garden. So he put them in the garden, and he kept watering them and watering them and watering them. After 5 days, he could see no progress. So he started to get upset. He told his father, look, I've been watering for 5 days, I can't see anything. Exactly, said the father. They're underground. They've been germinating. They're pushing up these little green shoots from under the ground. A few more days, they can't do it immediately. A few more days, you'll see a little green shoot pushing up to the surface. Sure enough, his father was right. A couple of days later, you could see these tiny little shoots. He was so excited, he watered those plants twice a day. And they grew and they grew and they grew. After about a few more days, they were about 3 inches high, and that's where he lost his patience. He decided to stretch them to make them grow faster. And he killed every one. And that's the problem with life. We try and stretch people to try and make them work harder or faster. We try and stretch our company. We try and stretch the Buddhist fellowship to make it more efficient. We try and stretch Ajahn Brahm to give more talks. You just kill me, that's all. You just follow nature. In a company, it can only grow at a certain place. Your job is to nurture it, just like a tree in the forest. You can't make it grow too fast. What you can do, you can hinder its growth and stop it growing. That's the problem. And too often in organizations or in companies or in your meditation, if you allow it to grow naturally, that's the fastest. So here's a fellow who's not a control freak, but is inspirational, and his company is growing very well. That's well done. That's how I would expect it to happen. Dear Ajahn Brahm, what do we do when flies land on us and have no intention of moving away? If they don't want to move away, you move away. And now if flies land and you have no intention of moving away. They keep buzzing in my ear and land on my face. If they're buzzing in your ear, they're still moving. When they land on your face, they're not buzzing anymore. So it's nice and peaceful and quiet. So you do lovely loving kindness meditation. Fly, the door of my heart, but not my mouth. The door of my heart is open to you, fly. You can stay in there as long as you like. Nice, fly. Flies, they get bored with you after a while. And then they go and fly to somebody else. But if you try and flick them off or shake, what do? They go away, they just come back again. Buzz them off again, they come back again. Buzz them off, they come back. But they've got to stay on your face a certain amount of time. So the sooner you let them, spend enough time on your face, then they fly away and it's gone. So it's much more efficient, just let them be. Do they sting? Do they sort of bite? They're just tickly, that's all. Don't you like being tickled? So just change your attitude, nice and positive. You know what? Somebody asked me a similar question once in public in our centre in Nollamara. There's lots of flies in the room. So what do? He said, leave them alone. And of course, the karma of saying something like that, the next moment a fly landed on me. And I thought, oh, damn it, I can't flick it off because I told other people not to. So I contemplated it. And you know what it did? It must have been a Buddhist fly because it went for around my mouth, not joking, 3 times. It's circumambulation, we call it. It's true. And what I discovered, the insight from that, is this part of your mouth is much more tickly than anything else. So once it got past the corners, I was okay. Once it got over here, that was really tickly. It went around 3 times, paying respect, and then it left. So that's true, that happened. That way. Question 2, if we don't disturb them, can we take preventative measures like wearing veils? Yeah, you can wear veils if you like, if there's many ones. We've got some spare veils over here. Have we still got some spare ones?
Yes, they're in the dining hall under the notice board.
Yeah, but that's only for namby-pamby cream puffs who haven't got any kindness to the poor flies. But you can wear them if you like. So that will keep them. But don't wear them in here. There's no flies in here. Just wear them outside. So there we go. That's the questions for this evening. A little bit more energy because I'm sort of relaxing a bit more now. And a bit of fun as well to make you happy. Now sometimes people complain, Ajahn Brahm, you tell too many jokes. And a monk shouldn't tell jokes. A monk should be serious. Some people say that. But I know from experience, if I make you laugh and keep you happy, you get more energy, especially after a long day's meditation. And you find after you've had happiness, if you sit meditation, you get far deeper. Giving people joy is a great key to get good meditation. And that means these evenings when I make it a little bit funny, it's on purpose to give you that boost of energy and happiness. Especially for those who are having difficult meditation. At least you make it here for the evening because it's fun and games. It's a little like sweet to give you after a long day, to encourage you. There's also, during those funny stories, there's a lot of wisdom giving as well. And sometimes you think you're laughing and you think all you remember is the jokes about carrots. But actually, the other stuff in between, that's what gets in. That's called the brainwashing. People who are good brainwashers, you never know that they're brainwashing you. But you know that brainwashing is very, very good for you. It makes you peaceful. It brings you kindness and gentleness. And you have a very happy, peaceful time. So that's why it works. Okay, so that's the evening. Much better than watching the TV. Much better than going to the theatre. See you Ajahn Brahm live. So have a great night, and for many of you, I'll see you in the morning. Have a good night.